After decades of silence, a British woman has been given a chance to hear for the first time thanks to some amazing surgery.
It's all right. It's a big, big, life-changing day today. Can you hear your own voice? Good.
That's Joanne Milton. She's 39. Her new cochlear implants now allow her to hear, and apparently hearing the woman right across from her. Since this video has gone viral, Milton has had quite a change in her life, as you can imagine. She has a rare condition. It's called Usher syndrome. And because of it, she was born profoundly deaf. But now she says she cherishes what we consider to be everyday experiences, things like hearing the honk of a car horn, or the sound of a voice.
I love these stories every time we do them. The emotional reaction is just so
pretty
intense.
amazing. Because any sensation of hearing is it's something that they've never experienced.
Right. The latest report from the Centers for Disease Control found 1 in 68 children in America has autism, and they say that's up 30% from the previous year.
That alone is startling. We're going to get into that. It doesn't mean that there's a huge spike in autism, but it does mean that doctors are getting better at diagnosing it. The question is, where do all of us parents go for help?
Areva Martin is the author of The Everyday Advocate, standing up for your child with autism or other special needs. She's also the president and co-founder of the Special Needs Network and the mother of an autistic child, so we understand your passion. Areva Martin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Just glad to be able to talk about autism, because you can't turn on the television or pick up a newspaper and not see the word or hear some story about it.
We all know somebody.
Yes, a family member, a co-worker, a neighbor. You know, it's impacting so many children today.
But that's because the spectrum of autism has grown so wide that it almost seems unfair or a little bit of a misrepresentation to use one word that can mean so many different things.
And a lot of family members and parents and experts feel that way, Jeff, but it's really important that they know that that label can be very important.
Okay.
And it's important because it drives services. So I know families are often reluctant to embrace the diagnosis, but in California in particular, to get the kind of services that kids with autism need, they have to be diagnosed with autism. So although it's a broad and it is a spectrum disorder, it's really important if your child has any developmental warning signs that you not ignore them and that you get help.
Let's get into that. Chris, what's the first one?
Well, part of the reason we're here also is Autism Awareness Day. Autism Awareness Month is next month, or April.
Yes, April.
So let's talk about some tips for parents, because so many we know are trying to figure out how to proceed with their child.
Yes.
Number one, recognizing the warning signs of autism. Talk about the signs.
It can be as simple as a child not following your eye contact, not responding to his or her name.
How early?
At what age? Yeah,
As
exactly.
early as 6 months. And there's studies that are finding that you can diagnose a child as early as 12 months. Playing with toys differently. So if you give a little boy cars, most little boys are going to take those cars and race them. Kids with autism are going to line those toys up in a repetitive fashion. They may do the same thing with crayons. Rather than color with the crayons, they're going to put them in lines. Repetitive behaviors. If you notice that your child isn't engaging with other kids, if he'd rather be in a corner or isolated from,
or even engaging with you as a parent, they don't always want to be held or
absolutely
hugged, right?
Cuddling is a big sign.
Cuddling, that they want to cuddle or don't?
They don't want to cuddle. They have a lot of sensory issues. So a lot of kids with autism, they can't take certain fabrics or certain materials being next to their skin. Even loud noises can irritate some kids.
So let's say, Areva, that your child is a year old, a year and a half old, and you're having these concerns.
Yes.
How do you choose the right type of doctor? Do you just go to your pediatrician?
You start with the pediatrician, because your pediatrician can then refer you to specialists. There are psychologists and there are other professionals trained to do nothing but diagnose kids who have a range of developmental disabilities like autism. And then what we know about autism, no medicine, no surgery, but lots of therapies. So kids with autism need therapies, behavior therapy,
In
speech
school.
therapy, occupational therapies, and special education
And
services.
schools can help diagnose this.
Schools can give you an assessment for free, and schools can also provide educational services and other interventions.
Does this fall under an ADA thing at school?
Yes,
Americans with
ADA, which
Disability
prohibits
Act?
discrimination against children with disabilities, absolutely. But the
Okay.
more important law for kids with autism is called IDEA, and it's a federal law that mandates that kids with autism and other disabilities receive a free education. So that means if your child needs, say, an assistant, you can actually get a one-to-one aide that will accompany your child to school.
Wow.
Your child may need special, like recreational therapy, special physical therapy. There are lots of interventions. So even
Gosh.
though the numbers are high, there's a lot of hope.
We have come so far, but I think an important thing to note is for a parent who has a child with autism is to prepare for that diagnosis
what
and
is
then
that?
prepare to get that help.
Yes.
What does prepare mean? Mentally prepare?
means psychologically,
Yeah.
spiritually, mentally, and not be afraid. So many parents, they get worried about the label and they go into denial. And I was one of those parents. I couldn't say the word autism without weeping. And I'm a lawyer and I'm an advocate, but it was so painful for me initially. But I want parents to know there are other parents. There's a huge network. There are families like them where you can find comfort, you can find support. So don't shy away. Embrace it, because your child can get the help and make tremendous progress. My son Marty didn't talk until he was 4.
All right, there's an event coming up in April for Autism Awareness Month. Let's take a look here. It's a special needs conference, April 11th and 12th. And the location is the Junior Blind of America.
Yes,
Is it-
free conference. Lots of workshops, information, resources. So if you have a child or you think your child may be having some challenges, this is a conference you want to attend.
And
free and resources.
SNN.org, special needs.
Specialneedsnetwork.org. You can find all the
Got it.
information and register for the conference.
And the key there is that there is hope, and
Lots of
the
hope.
earlier you get started with treatment.
Early intervention
Yeah.
is key, because then you can get those much needed interventions.
All right.
Areva, boy, you're a passionate advocate. We thank you for coming in. And
Thank you.
how's your child doing?
Marty is doing fantastic. He was one of
That's
the
great.
lucky kids. He got diagnosed early and got great intervention. So he's
And a-
14
and
and,
a
6
strong
feet tall.
Parent who went forward.
It's great.
Yes, he's very good.
Areva Martin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark.